Hello, this is Steve at stevehufpphoto.com, and today I have a quick look at the brand new Sony RX10 camera. This is the part of the RX line, which we have the RX100, the RX100 Mark II, the RX1, and the RX1R. Sony have now added the RX10, which looks nothing like the other RX cameras, but there's a reason for that. They have found that there's actually a high demand out there by the masses, actually. This is not really aimed at enthusiasts, but enthusiasts might love this camera. But who will really love this camera are everyday people that normally go out and buy something like a Canon Rebel, and then they get stuck with that really crappy kit lens, and then they try to buy another crappy cheap lens and they are never happy with it. They can't focus it, the metering's off, the color's out of whack. So for all those people, this is also a great addition to the Sony lineup. The reason it's so great is because it's an all-in-one camera, fixed lens, and as you can see, the lens on this guy is fat. That is because it's a 24 to 200 millimeter equivalent zoom lens, and the best part is it has a constant f2.8 aperture. So even when you're at 200 millimeters zoomed all the way out, and I'm going to turn that on right now so you can see what it looks like. If you look at the lens, you will see it gives you the 35 millimeter equivalent. So right now I'm at 24. You can go up to 35, to 50, to 70, to 100, all the way up to 200. So once you zoom out, it looks like you have some kind of Canon here in your hands, but it's just that Zeiss 24 to 200 lens built in. The cool thing is you can zoom right here on the switch, back or forth, or you can zoom with the lens barrel. Another thing that's really cool that enthusiasts will like about this camera is the aperture dial, the aperture setting is on the lens. So you can hear it click, so you can set it to f2.8 all throughout the range. You can stop it down to 5.6, you can stop it down to f16. But as you hear the clicks, if you don't like the clicks, say you want to shoot some video, there's a button down here where you can make it click on or click off. If you don't like the click, now I turned it off, it's very smooth, it's a clickless aperture. So if you're shooting video, and I have to say that video is superb on this camera. You have 1080p, you could shoot at 24 frames per second or 60 frames per second. I went out to the state fair at night and I shot it at 24 frames per second, and I didn't think it was going to come out nearly as good as it did. The colors were very rich, the detail was there, and the image stabilization built into this lens, which is again a Zeiss 24 to 200 Vario Sonnar T lens. It has built-in image stabilization, so when you're shooting video, you're going to get some nice smooth performance. You're not going to get the shakes when you're watching the video back, so it worked really well. Another thing I like about this with video is the microphone built into this camera is amazing. Probably the second best built-in mic I've heard, similar to the Sony A99 high-end full-frame DSLR. So the sound quality built in is really good, but you can also add a microphone via an input on the side of the camera. You also have audio levels that show up when you are taking video. And the audio levels, as you can see right here, that way you can monitor your audio or listen with headphones or whatever you want to do. That way you're going to make sure that you're not blowing out your audio. Here's your mic and headphone jacks right on the side. So Sony really set this up as an all-in-one powerhouse for those who want to take one camera and one camera only. They don't have to fiddle around with lenses. You can use this at the zoo, you can use this for a birthday party, you can use this for your kid's soccer game, you can use it for a concert, you can use it for nature photography, you can even use it for interior photography. You can use it in low light. I will say, having the 1-inch sensor, which is the same size as a Nikon V1, V2, but much improved. I've seen prints between this and the V2, and this beat it for high ISO noise performance as well as detail and sharpness. So sensor technology keeps evolving, and so Sony has put a 1-inch sensor in the RX10. A lot of people are going to be like, why do I want a little piddly sensor? Well, you get a lot of benefits by having a small sensor. First, I also want to say it has a really nice EVF. It's pretty large, very clear. You have the OLED LCD display, but the benefits of a small sensor are you're going to get faster autofocus, which this camera has really good autofocus. It's not the best I've ever used. In comparison to the Olympus CM1, it's a little slower, but this has really good autofocus. And even at the fair, when I was shooting in low light, I had no problems focusing. I also shot it a little bit at a Halloween party, and while it focused perfectly, I couldn't get my shutter speeds high enough to have crystal clear images because it was pretty much in complete darkness with just a few lights from a dance floor shining into the scene. So focus performance is really good. The lens performance, it is a Zeiss lens, so you're going to get very sharp pictures, though you're not going to get the kind of crispness and 3D pop that you would get out of something like the Sony A7, because that is a full frame sensor camera. The sensor is much larger in the A7. You'll be able to have subject isolation, 3D depth, and depth of field possibilities. With this, your depth of field is never going to get really shallow. You can get there a little bit if you zoom out to 200 millimeters and set your aperture to 2.8. You'll get a little bit of that, but at the same time, you're going to want some decent light, and you're still not going to get that full-on creamy full frame look. But that's not what this camera is all about. This camera is all about versatility. One camera, take anywhere, do anything almost that you want to do. Video, photos, it's all in one. Perfect for family vacations. Perfect, like I said, for birthday parties, soccer games, football games, anywhere you want to go, the zoo, Disneyland. You know, one camera, one lens. You don't have to worry about switching lenses or getting dust onto your sensor. So Sony pretty much has created its own little niche here because there's no other camera like this one, a super zoom, with this high of quality. Some people will say, well, it's $1,299 and that's too expensive, but the build quality is really good on the camera. Like I said, the video features are really nice. It feels good in the hand. You have a built-in flash if you so desire, you want that. It has a top LCD display with a light so you can see your settings. Like I said, the manual aperture dial. You can zoom with the lens barrel or with the switch right here. You have your exposure compensation dial right here on top of the camera, which is really, really cool. Leicas don't even have this for some oddball reason. You have your video button back here, so you just have to reach out your thumb. It will not get accidentally pressed as you're walking around. On the A7, they put it up here, which was a little odd, but here it's a really good spot. The menus are the typical alpha menus, just like the RX1, just like the A7. They're clean, they're easy to understand. You have your gear menu, your camera settings, your Wi-Fi. This has Wi-Fi. It also has NFC. It's very easy to hook up to your phone, and you can remote shutter. You can download images to your phone or tablet. Very simple process. So once you set up your settings, you're good to go. But the cool thing is, all your settings are right out on the camera and accessible. Exposure compensation. There's your shutter button. There's your zoom. Here's your aperture dial. You can set any one of these buttons here to ISO. So if you want to change your ISO, you can do so with one of these buttons here. I think I disabled these for the review. So once you set up all these buttons, here's a quick menu, the FN button back here. So it's bringing me to a menu where I can choose my drive mode. I have it on single. Flash mode, flash compensation, your focus area. I like to have flexible spot because it's a little smaller of an area. I always use center focus no matter what camera I'm shooting with because I want to know what I'm focusing on. And if you're using like a million focus points, you never know what the camera's going to focus on. So I always choose center point. I have the ISO set to auto. It has a built-in ND filter. So if you're out there shooting at 2.8 in super bright sun and it's just making it too much for the camera to handle, it'll automatically engage the ND filter and you can shoot wide open in full sunlight. Your metering modes, your white balance modes. I found the white balance and the color of all the new Sony cameras to be much improved over previous cameras. In fact, the white balance on these Sony cameras are some of the best I've seen. Dynamic range, I always turn it off because it adds a little bit of like HDR-ness to your photos, and that's something I do not like. And your color modes, you have all the same: standard, vivid, neutral, clear, deep, light, all the same settings that you're used to on Sony cameras. Of course, your LCD will swivel. Your battery compartment is down here, and your SD card holder is on the side right here. So overall, it's a very slick, very polished camera, and my full written review will be up at stevehufpphoto.com with my thoughts and my samples and even some video samples. And this camera is shipping the end of November 2013, so depending on when you're watching this, it's either not out yet, or it's out, or it's been out for 5 years, and it's old news. And here's the box that it comes in, simple little box right there. And that is the Sony Super Zoom RX10, high quality, in your hand, one camera does it all kind of thing. You're giving up a little bit of ISO performance due to the smaller sensor. You're giving up depth of field, shallow depth of field. You can get a little bit, but nothing like an APS-C or full frame or even a micro four thirds with a fast lens. But what you're gaining is focus speed, all-in-one convenience, versatility, nice build, and really good image quality and superb video quality and audio. All for $1,299. It's a camera that'll last you a long, long time. So take a look at stevehufpphoto.com for the full review, like I said. And always check back every day for something cool and photographic. And again, thanks for watching this first look at the Sony RX10. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye.